Every single day, there are hundreds and thousands of inventions happening. Most of them work perfectly in theory, while only a few make it from the historical inventions of the pulley and tire to the last AI chips. The world has seen some wonderful inventions that leave us dazzled and wondering as to where these thoughts come to the minds of these scientists. From Edison's light bulb, Marconi's radio, and Graham Bell's telephone have changed the course of history. The invention of cars and trucks has changed how we commute and transport, like airplanes and huge ships that easily carry thousands of tons of cargo. In this video, we will discuss some of the historic and unique inventions that never took off but are worth knowing about. It gives us an insight into how far we have come regarding development in our technology and society. First of all, we have the Dinosaur. It was the invention of Dr. John Archibald Purtis. He was a fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh. An interesting thing about it was that it was inspired by a 17th century artist, also known as the Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci. Basically, the Dinosaur was a giant mono-wheel where a driver and a passenger could sit in a cabin mounted on tracks. This 1,000-pound wheel would run at an exhilarating speed of 20 to 30 miles per hour, but it never came out of the prototype phase. Two prototypes were built, a smaller electric model and one with a gasoline motor that would reach 2 to 6 horsepower. The prototype that used gasoline was 3 meters high and was built from an iron lattice network that weighed 1,000 pounds. This invention failed because it was too difficult to brake and turn that monowheel. It was also a very impractical vehicle that wasn't meant for the actual road in the longer run. Next, we have the group shaving machine. Imagine going for a shave, and there you see 12 people already lined up. You get sad, but wait, all these people are getting shaved at once. So a dozen people could get a shave for the time of shaving one person. This sounds brilliant in theory, and that is what the inventor of this machine was thinking back in the 19th century. All 12 people would sit close to each other, and the machine would start applying shaving foam to all of the customers at once. Once the foam was applied, it was time to use the razor. This is the part where this machine failed because different people have different face structures, and it wasn't practical to shave them all at once with accuracy. Thus, the customers would usually get cuts and aberrations, and instead of having a good shaving experience, they would leave in frustration and a half-shaved face. The theory behind this machine was very practical, unlike the machine's actual working, which couldn't get moving. Then we have the Impulsora. In 1850, when steam engines were well in use for almost 2 decades, the idea of a horse-powered train that would run on tracks came into the mind of Clement Mascherano. The Impulsora was a system which used a maximum of 4 horses and a treadmill system on which the horses would run, and the train would move on the tracks. It would use a gearbox, allowing the horses to run as fast as possible, while the treadmill was also slightly inclined. As many as 30 wagons could be pulled. The steam engines were considered expensive at the time because mining coal was not as easy back in the day as it is now. Thus, in order to provide passengers with a cheap and easy ride for shorter distances, this train was built. It was exhibited in the Great Exhibition in 1851. It comes to mind that it was a very impractical design. But it was actually a very brilliant one for the time it was built. It provided a much smoother ride and could reach the speed of 20 miles per hour. Though it would travel at 7 miles per hour on tracks, in theory, it could have reached 20 miles per hour. Horses were also considered safe from injuries as they would run not on the track but on the treadmill. These horses could run for long and be extremely strong. Apart from its certain benefits, Impulsora never came out of its prototype phase. It was a great idea but with poor execution. The Impulsora also went off the radar after a while, and it now remains a distant memory in the history of railways. Next, we have the urban window baby cage. When the tuberculosis epidemic hit, many people thought fresh air was the key to combating the disease. Thus, many open-air schools were built, and efforts were made to ventilate the houses as much as possible. Now, this was a problem for people living in high-rise apartments in cities. Those apartments had no ventilation, and no sunlight could get through these apartments. This made the parents worried about the health of their toddlers. The spouse of the 32nd President of the United States, Eleanor Roosevelt, did something way out of the ordinary. Before she married Roosevelt in 1906, the 21-year-old Eleanor hung a basket out of her window with a wire as per the doctor's advice. The doctor advised her firstborn baby, Anna, necessary sunlight and fresh air. This design was then improved, and the patent was extremely popular in London in the 1930s. Many mothers would leave their toddlers for a nap in the fresh air and sunlight while living in high-rise apartments. The most surprising fact about these cages was that they were extremely safe and efficient, and contrary to popular belief, no casualties or reports of injuries were ever reported. This was later stopped for use because new apartments had better ventilation systems. And though it was a unique invention and completely safe, it could never have continued because of mother's fear. The next invention we will share is the vending machine for tanning. After the 40s, white skin was not trendy anymore. It became one of the trendiest inventions of the 1950s as women were crazy after it. The machine looked like a gas pump which was usually placed around beaches and pools so women could easily tan their skin. They wanted to have that nice toasted, tanned look, so this machine was the perfect answer for all of them. They thought to achieve that perfect look with it. Another big thing about this tanning machine that made it an instant hit was the fact that it only took 30 seconds to tan their skin. Also, they found it way more convenient than going to a tanning salon and was less expensive than tanning salons. It would cost around 50 cents to tan their skin. But since there was not enough knowledge about various health issues using certain medical and beauty procedures, people didn't think how dangerous this could be to their skin. This invention was around for a short time because it was soon banned. After all, it used materials that were very harmful to the body. In the last, we have the portable radio hat. Long before when smartphones, headphones or earbuds were invented, an invention showed how much people were thinking about improving their state of pleasure in life. Radio was the only source of infotainment long before TV and smartphones came. A portable radio hat was invented in 1930 by an inventor in Berlin. It was basically a straw hat with two antennas sticking out from it. It would catch signals from a 32 kilometers radius. However, it was an interesting invention, and it was possible to listen to the radio while wearing it. But it couldn't work much as it had signal issues, which was a major flaw. This hat was later made from many different materials, but the idea and the concept remained the same. The demand for these radio hats was not as high when they came out. But after the invention of the transistor radio, its demand dropped completely, and no one was buying it anymore. Though it was quite a unique invention, there were problems with it that couldn't be ignored. That is it for today's video. We hope you found this video informative. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos. Press the bell icon to stay updated whenever we post a video. Till then, peace.